Hey guys, so I finally made it up here. I'm at the top of Brown Mountain and I brought my single speed. I'll show that to you in a minute. But it's a beautiful day. It's Friday. It's the first time I've been to the top of Brown Mountain in at least 3 or 4 weeks, maybe a month. I just haven't been riding all the way up here that much. I really enjoy this upper part of Brown Mountain, and I enjoy just grinding in more miles and getting more altitude in on my single speed. One of the reasons, and this is kind of my theme of this video, is why I chose a single speed and as opposed to just sticking with a geared bike, or why not just get a full suspension and everything else. Why this simple single speed that's a hardtail and doesn't have all the travel and everything else, and all the latest suspension design and everything. And part of it is I do like full suspension bikes. I haven't rode one in a while, and I'm sure they've gotten a lot better. But part of it is I like to be a little bit underbiked. I like to feel that the trail, I like to feel the trail, and I want that trail to be a little bit more challenging on some of the technical sections that make it kind of come alive for me and give me that, that adrenaline when I'm riding down the mountain. So that's part of it. The other part of it is, this is 7 miles to the top of here. Well, let's see what this says. Well, it says it was 7 miles from Altadena, and I rode from Altadena, but we can look at my cycle computer and get accurately what exactly. So I climbed almost 2,000 feet, and I'm at almost 3,000 feet elevation, 2916. So, climbing 2,000 feet in 7 miles, I feel like, okay, well, I don't have a lot of choice around here. This is my local trail. This is where I ride all the time. So part of it is, okay, I want to get a good workout for that short climb. Sure, I could climb even further and go up there, but then I would have to drive somewhere, or I would go to the saddle, which is the halfway point, go down to these campgrounds and then go back up, and then I can go over to Sunset Trail or Inspiration Point and add a little more altitude with that. And when I was riding Sunset and I was riding San Merrill, I rode a full suspension. That's a trail where I feel like, okay, this is where a full suspension comes in, and you want to have that travel and be able to fly over that chunky stuff and do some of those more technical steep descents with a bike that's made for that. A hardtail is going to, be a little bit slower on that stuff, especially when you have really, really long sections of rock gardens, and it's just, you're feeling the chunder and you're just kind of absorbing that shock. Because with a hardtail, basically my rear end and my rear suspension is how I have my feet planted on these pedals, and I have the bend in my knee, and my knee is my rear suspension. It's also part of my front suspension too, but I have that fork up front to kind of take off a little bit of the edge. So that's the difference between, for the most part. There's a lot of other details that go into it. So I like having a single speed and a hardtail for the fact that I just get more out of the trail. And those of you guys that ride hardtails probably follow Steve's channel, Hardtail Party, kind of get it. And you notice the nuances and the difference in the frame geometry and the feel of the steel or aluminum or titanium in the frame, or carbon frames. So you notice the little differences, the subtle differences in that. You notice the subtle differences in your tire width if you're running Cush Core. Obviously, if you're going tubeless, I don't use tubes. The closest I ever came to using tubes in the last 8 years or so was when I used those Tannis Armor inserts that you're supposed to put a tube inside of those, and I hated them. I actually returned them, and I've never gone back to that type of insert. I've stuck with Cushcore and rim pack. You guys have seen all my videos on that. This bike actually has, well, it has the regular Cushcore in the rear, and then in the front it has rim packed, which is a little bit wider. Oh, this is my little head beanie. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and head down the trail, but I wanted to give you that update, let you know, get out and ride. This is the best time of year. If you're especially down in Southern California, we really don't get that much of a winter here, but when we get those rains and we get a little bit cooler weather, it's really nice to get back here. There's not as many bugs, the trail's a little more sticky, and it doesn't get dried up as much, so it's kind of nice. You just got to watch out for the real windy days, especially on some trails. Here in the San Gabriels, we're lucky we don't get a bunch of wind blasting weather over here, but some of the other trails they do. Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys, and give me a thumbs up and follow if you haven't followed my channel, and I appreciate any comments.